Char Margolis, Char Communications Incorporated, and CharVision LLC do not endorse or offer for any purpose but entertainment the views of any guest or other expert on CharVision or UBN.
I knew things before they happened from the time I was a child. At the age of 8, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed and didn't know what it was. And in my 20s, I finally realized I had a special ability that could help others. I have learned that love never dies. There is a spirit world that can communicate with us, and we all have the gift of intuition. Join me, and together we will explore the possibilities of the unknown from beyond and more. This is CharVision. Hi everybody, welcome to CharVision. I want to thank all of you guys for watching last week. It meant so much to me, and we have a great show today. My dear friend, Catherine Hunter, and her, well, we know her as Cat, but we don't want to say Cat Hunter because that doesn't sound good. But Catherine is an amazing astrologer. And the thing I love about astrology is that everybody has a sign. Everybody wants to know who they're compatible with in love and romance and just in friendship. And so today we're going to talk about different things in astrology, and if you have any questions beyond that, how do we get a hold of you, Kat?
My website, I gave it to.
What is it?
Theplanetarycodes.com.
Theplanetarycodes.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start basic because I'm learning along with everybody else. Mm-hmm. What is astrology?
It's a really great question, and a lot of people don't realize that astrology is an ancient art. I mean, we have records of astrology 2,000 years BC. It goes way back to the Babylonian times. And at that time, it was actually connected to the science of astronomy. And exactly what it is and what it does is it maps the planetary movements in the sky and connects them to the events that are going on in your personal lives. So it's great. It's like the moon to the tides, basically. And, you know, throughout history, we see that people did use them for those things. And probably the most known example is the three magi, the astrologers that not only found Jesus's place of birth, but they also found the time, knew the time he was going to be born. So that's really interesting, yeah. And we also know that royalty always had astrologers on what we might call our staff today. They consulted astrologers when planning wars, when making auspicious marriages, you know. And in the Renaissance time, it was a common language. Like, Char, you might be telling me, well, you're an up person, but you might be saying to me, oh, I'm having a, you know, kind of a tough day. Well, in the Renaissance, it wouldn't be unknown to have someone say, I think Saturn's come to visit me today.
Oh,
you
really?
Know? Yeah, or you
and
might
tell people what Saturn means when Saturn comes to visit, because you want to know this.
It's a day where you can kind of feel, you know, like there's a little bit of burden, that you feel weighted down. It's not necessarily an up day, it's a serious
And Saturn
day.
is the planet that
is the planet of fate, and the planet of responsibility, and the planet that is the taskmaster and sees that you get what you deserve. But it's not necessarily an optimistic or up planet. So someone might say, today I'm depressed, or I'm feeling a little burdened. And those days they might say, Saturn's come to visit, or they might say, I'm under the spell of Venus, rather than I've met this great person, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I know when people say they have a Saturn return, that means for 3 years Saturn is bothering them. Is that what happens?
Actually, it's a tremendous opportunity.
It is an opportunity.
Yeah.
When it was in my rising sign, I got so much done.
Yeah. People get promoted. Actually, people are scared a lot of times when Saturn starts to go to an area where their career area, right?
I love that you're positive about this.
Oh, yeah, well,
because so many people are not positive about it. So tell us.
So I remember when I was in the corporate world, I got my greatest promotion when I was under Saturn. And so remember I said Saturn is a taskmaster.
Right.
Master. It really does see that you get what you deserve. So if you've been not doing the job,
Right.
you'll have a big fall under Saturn. But if you've been doing the job and working hard and have integrity,
Right.
Saturn will see that you're rewarded. But really, just like going back to the beginning of what we were talking about,
Right.
how you map, how it correlates with the events in our lives. All through history, people have used it that way, and like you can walk through any old town in Europe, and you will see that there's symbols of astrology on the town clocks.
Really?
Yeah, but modern, and that just shows that it was a daily part of their lives.
Well,
And
isn't there like a correlation between the 12 astrological signs, the Last Supper, there were 12 people, in Passover, there's, I don't know, there's some other, there's
all of those
different,
are repeated patterns. And yes, you're right. But in the mundane,
why is it? Does it mean, do you know that answer?
I don't know that answer.
Like there's 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
Like what is there's 12, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
if I've had 12 boyfriends in my life. Let me count. Well, anyway, go on.
Yeah, numerologists have seen those patterns passing down for years, and there's 12 signs, like you say, and it seems to be broken down in those things.
Like everyone listening and watching wants to know about themselves.
Exactly.
Can we briefly go through each sign and just give some maybe personality traits or what it means, or
Sure.
is that okay?
Yeah,
So-
we can. But I also wanted to bring up one thing about the use in our modern times, and let's not forget President Reagan, who wouldn't make a move on his schedule without consulting his astrologer.
That's right. You know why? Because of Nancy.
Yeah.
Nancy was the magic there.
Yeah, she was, and there's an amazing book called Ask Joan that is like really
Oh,
interesting.
she was
If
the
you-
astrologer.
Joan Quigley, and she passed
Right.
away recently.
Oh.
But yeah, so
Maybe she'll come on the show.
hey Joan, I can go through every sign, but
because
that's what that
also-
does is reduces astrology.
I understand, because every sign, it depends on the time you're born, the date, the
Yeah.
time, the place where the planets are, the exact place, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
that's
listen-
okay. And also like when they say one sign is not compatible with another sign, is that always true?
No,
It's not.
you have to look. I mean, you can look at that basically, but you have to look at the time of birth. You have to, you have to look at the. You can't go by the sun sign. You have to look at the moon, because the moon
Is
is
this-
your emotional residence.
Okay, so what's more important, the sun sign, where your moon is, or your rising sign?
All of them are equally important, and a
They're
good
important.
astrologer will look at that and make that decision. And in some cases, it might be the moon. In another case, it might be Mars. It's like, how that person handles their anger. Does it work with you? Can
Right.
you guys resolve your differences in a positive way?
Well, okay, then can we just briefly go through, like, Aries are supposed to be
Well, unfortunately, Aries is known to be all about me.
all about me. And then
But they're great because they're really connected to Mars and how to get their needs met and how to
Okay.
move forward in life.
okay, and the next one is
Taurus. Taurus is very grounded. The ruler is Venus, and you can look. The Taurus is like the salt of the earth.
Okay. That's a good, and they're loyal, right?
They're very loyal,
And
as
then-
you know.
Right. Well, I don't know. I just know that but so are Leos. So,
Yeah.
but we won't get to Leos yet, being the Leo that I am. So, okay,
So
and
Gemini,
then
is great because they know a lot. They're very curious.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement in their life.
But what did they say? They're two personalities because it's the twins?
They're twins.
What does that mean?
It means they can probably be one person one day because they are basically, they have so many faces. It's kind of like I would say a Picasso painting where you see the full face and then the profile in the rendering of that painting. So there's so many facets to them, and they know a lot about everything. They're very much dilettantes, but
Right.
that just speaks to their curiosity.
Whoa.
So
And then what's after Gemini?
Cancer.
Cancer. Oh, that's sensitive, right?
they're very sensitive. They're normally very security driven. They're attached to their mothers in a good way. They really care about their families. Yeah, Cancer's a very sweet sign.
And then Leo.
Leo is
The only one I knew where it is.
Leo's a lioness, and they're like, no, in a good way. Lioness, the heart of a lioness, and it's the planet of the heart. So again, that's wonderful. Leos are loyal. You can count on them.
To a fault. I am loyal to a fault. I really am.
They have so much to give.
I don't want you crying for me out there, but I am. I have been.
They're generous. I mean, that heart is a generous heart.
And my sisters are both Leos, and we love to all be together. I love to be with Leos. My best friend's a Leo. I mean, we love to hang out, Leos.
Yeah. So the next one is, what is
Virgo.
Virgo. Virgo is...
Good thing I'm here to help you.
Thank you. I've lost track. Virgo's very detail-oriented.
Very.
The issue with Virgo sometimes is they lose the big picture because they're so involved in the nitty-gritty of it all.
They're so organized.
They're very organized. They're not as conceptual, but see, you can't say that. What if they were a Virgo with a sign that's very conceptual, like Aquarius?
Okay.
What if they had an Aquarius moon or that sort of thing? So, people say hire Virgos because they're reliable, they're detail-oriented, they're... they'll come through for you. They show up. Virgos show up. Yeah.
It's
so if
true.
you want someone dependable, a Virgo is there for you. You can count on them.
And detailed
too.
and helpful. And then
Virgos always want to serve. It's a sign of service. So they always want to help.
And then Libra.
Libra is the other sign ruled by Venus, and they're very social. They love nice things. They're very generous. They don't like to be alone. They like to be with people. They love partnership. They're very
they
artistic
can never be alone.
and creative.
They can never really be alone.
Not mostly, but then you come across
my mom though was a Libra, and she could be alone.
I'm a Libra and I can be alone, but I have Moon in the 12th house. So that's why this kind of...
And you're an evolved Libra.
Well, Moon in the 12th house, that's the person that likes to be alone. So I always say introvert, but sometimes there are people that do you want to go out or you want to go home? I want to go home.
Right. Well, that's okay too. I think that even spiritually, people need to learn to be alone.
I agree.
Because you can't really grow unless you really get to know yourself and you have self-love, I think.
Yeah.
So after Libra
you have
is Scorpio.
Scorpios are intense usually.
What is this thing with sex and Scorpios? Why do they say they put those two together?
Well, if you look at a chart, you'll see that the 8th house is the one that's given to Scorpio, and that's the area of the chart that represents sex and death and transformation.
Oh.
So it's very profound. And then, a lot of people can't handle the intensity of Scorpios. So it is an intense sign. They are very passionate.
But are they also do they tell you like it is, or like abruptly tell you like it is? Scorpios?
They're not known for that, but they can be that way. Mm-hmm. They have the reputation, sometimes unfairly, as being kind of manipulative. So they're not that straightforward. A lot of times they come in through the back door, so to speak. Okay. So with a Scorpio, often what you see is not what you get.
Okay.
But they are really driven and self-directed and intense and passionate.
So after Scorpio...
They're highly magnetic.
Are they?
Sagittarius.
I always forget about Sagittarius.
Yeah, they're a great sign. They're ruled by Jupiter.
And Saturn's in Sagittarius right now, right?
It's dancing between Scorpio and Sag, but it's about to make a 2-year stay into Sagittarius. It moved in and it's moved out and it's moving back again.
Tony's a Sagittarius.
Yeah, no wonder. I mean, you walk in, you meet a Sagittarius. They're so hello and open, and
Tony's
they're
special.
They're ruled by Jupiter, which is so expansive and optimistic, and the symbol is the archer, which is on the horse whose feet are planted on the ground, but the archer has his bow shooting its arrows to the sky. So they are a combination of being grounded and like being in touch with the universe and life itself. And they're usually really generous souls.
That's Tony. That is Tony. Wow. Okay,
Capricorn. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. You know, again, we're talking how we initially came in.
Right.
About the fear of Saturn. A lot of times Capricorns get places slower because they're fearful.
Right.
Fear is a big thing. Fear and worry is a big thing with
we call fear the 4-letter F word.
I love that.
False evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
And the opposite of fear is love, isn't it?
Yeah. I love that you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they take time I mean, Saturn is also associated with Father Time. So Saturn ruled people don't necessarily, unless there's something else going on. Remember, we're talking generally. They don't necessarily, they're not they peak later. You know, they're not normally the early bloomers. They have to work hard. They have to prove themselves. They're like that goat climbing the mountain, one step at a time. They are solid. I mean,
really solid, right?
Yeah, they're the other Earth side.
You can count on a Capricorn.
Yeah,
that I know. My best friend from high school is a Capricorn. Nikki's a Capricorn, my assistant. You can count on them.
Yeah, it's like hire a Capricorn, hire a Virgo. You know, it's like they know what they're doing, and they're security again is important to them, and they're really interested in moving ahead in life and getting ahead and reaching their goals. But it's slow, so they can get discouraged sometimes.
They don't have patience. Well, everybody's learning patience in life.
But Saturn, it's especially for them. Saturn is again Father Time, and it teaches you, no, you have to wait for this. You have to prove yourself. You know. So all this is very general, but then
Aquarius. What is the dawning? Well, first tell us about Aquarius, and then let's talk about the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I mean, isn't it coming up soon?
It's been here.
Oh, okay.
We're in it.
What do I know?
We're in it. It's part of this whole evolutionary piece. You know, you remember the play?
That's what I'm thinking of, aging myself. Yeah. But this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
But what are Aquarians? What are they like?
They're humanitarians. They see the bigger picture. They look ahead.
Right.
They're the people that you have to stay in the now.
Right.
Stay in the present, because they're always looking ahead. I mean, Aquarius is also they're said to be really interested in astrology because their ruler is Uranus, and Uranus rules astrology. So they're great people. They're a fixed sign. People don't really realize how tough Aquarians can be sometimes. It's really tough to change their minds once they've made it.
Who's a famous Aquarian?
President Reagan.
He was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, President Reagan.
Gina, my manager, is an Aquarian.
Oh.
Is Oprah an Aquarian? I'm not sure. I think she is.
I think she is. So Aquarians are great. And the next one is Pisces.
Right.
We love Pisces. You know, they're ruled by Neptune, which is the planet of, well, it can go two ways. It can be the addiction planet, or it can be the planet of the guru and the spiritual person and the enlightened person.
Right.
They're a water sign. They're very intuitive. You know, they're very
Pisces are sensitive and intuitive, I've found, and they like to please people.
Yeah. They often sacrifice themselves because they want to
please everybody, right?
They also have to learn to see illusion from reality, because they often wear rose-colored glasses, and I tell people it's okay to have rose-colored glasses. Just make sure you know they're on.
It reminds me of the reading you gave me.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
See, I forget everything.
Of course you do, because you're so good at what you do.
Do that?
I forget when I read, but because I always see the good in everything, and you said sometimes you have to take your rose-colored glasses off.
Yeah. And astrology can help with that.
So it can, right?
Yeah.
You help me. I can tell you that right now. You help me.
Sometimes when you're under long periods of the planet that rules Pisces, you're under a Neptune period, you know, you can fall in love with someone, and by the end of the 3 years, you realize, wow, that wasn't the person I thought they were. So I always tell people, if you fall in love under Neptune, it's okay. That person may turn out to be the person you think they are, but wait to commit until you're out of Neptune.
Is that the last sign, Pisces? Yeah. So how accurate is astrology? Like, how accurate is it really?
Well, two things. The first thing that comes to mind, for me, it's one of the most accurate oracles, especially in timing because it's mathematical. But it's not absolute. In other words, my accuracy in my reading for you will depend on the accuracy of your birth time and the information you give me. And the other thing is, I can give you information and you're not going to use it. So how accurately will it be then? Like I can say, Char, you have this amazing hand to play. If you don't play it, you're not going to win
because we have free will and we have choice. And that's when people come for readings with me, and I do private readings all the time.
Right.
You know, some things in life are predestined, but
there is fate.
Right, but many things we create by the choices we make, and somebody else's choice or decision can change the course of life for many people. So we all need to be in sync in the moment with our intuition.
Right.
But also, astrologically, it will tip you off of how to make those decisions, right?
Exactly. Now, I think people ask that question, how accurate is astrology, simply because, I mean, most people today know astrology through those daily forecasts.
Right.
You know, and it's fun. I mean, it's done something great for astrology because it's introduced it to the masses, right? People are like, okay, they said I'm a Libra and I'm going to have this kind of Libra day.
Right.
And it's made it fun. So it's made astrology on everybody's lips, so to speak. But the downside to that, it's kind of reduced astrology in a way because it's a really complex art.
Because it makes it more general.
It makes it so general.
And it's really not general. It's specific of the time, date, place you were born, everything, right?
Yes. So, you know, occasionally a day will hit you on those forecasts. You know, you're like, oh, look, I read this and it happened today. But to me, that brings up the old adage, even a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Right.
Because there really isn't too much credibility.
Even a broken clock, I just got that one. Okay.
So I think people call into account the credibility of astrology sometimes because they haven't gone into it deeply. It really is complex.
What is your specialty in a nutshell?
Well, first of all, I do it all. Like if somebody comes to me for the first time, I'll read their natal chart, and it's a blueprint that gets filled in over a lifetime, and it's going to tell me, it's going to be able to let me converse with you about your strengths, your gifts, where you get stuck, what your challenges are, what your soul is thinking. And people come to me for various reasons, to forecast their years, to find a marriage date. I helped someone hire an architect once. I work with business people. But my specialty and my love, I would have to say, is solar returns.
Solar returns.
Solar returns.
Oh, yeah, because you told me where to be on my solar return. I think, yeah.
Yeah. Now, a solar return.
Tell them what that is.
So a solar return is a chart that's struck on the day of your birthday, and it lasts a year. So it's when the sun returns to the exact degree where you were born, and it stays in effect until the next year. And it takes a full year for the sun to go all the way around. And it sets up a chart. Like if you were in LA on your birthday, rather than New York, it would be two different charts.
Right.
And so that's an amazing tool we have. It's not just me reading your chart and saying, this is happening, this is happening.
So it's an energetic
It is. It's
thing?
like we can use that to help us. Like if, I'll go back to the ancients. There's a lot of evidence that the ancients used this as a forecaster in their work. And now today there are astrologers that use it as a standalone technique, basically, in terms of prediction. But my people might call me, like you might call me next year, and you might say, how do I look? How does my solar return look in LA? And I might go, oh, it's great. Or I might say, well, you could improve this chart.
Right.
And so it doesn't obliterate difficult cycles you're going through. But what it does is like somebody coming in and giving you a helping hand and going, okay, if you go to this place, it's going to strengthen you.
I get it.
You know, it's going to support you. It's going to give you an advantage. If you're going through a difficult time, a solar return can help you. And that's why I love solar returns, because we can't change where our moon was when we were born. We can't change where our sun was, but we can shift a solar return chart. And it's granted only a piece of the picture, but it's something we can use to help us. Can I tell you a solar return story?
Yes, we have a couple minutes, but I'd love to hear that story.
This is so fast. I can't believe it.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so this person was working at a corporate level. She'd worked her way up. She was a manager for a retailer, a prestigious retailer in Beverly Hills. There was a senior executive position that came open. She went to them. She goes, you know, I've done this stellar job. I've gotten all these accolades, blah, blah, blah. Can I please interview for this position? I want to move up. And they said no. You know, this is not, you haven't been on the right career path. You have to go to a smaller store first. We only put people in these positions who are experienced, because this is a primary store. She went to Tokyo. She like lit up her 10th house, which is your career house. Wow. She came home. She didn't even approach it again. She just worked really hard. About 6 months later, they came to her. They said, "Do you want the job?" She didn't even have to interview for the job. Wow! So there's great stories like that in solar returns.
I love that. I see you're really passionate about that.
I love them because we can do something about it.
I am so appreciative that you came here today. It was like pulling teeth to get Catherine to come.
I said no.
She has no ego. She has no ego. She's tremendously gifted with what you do, but she loves the practice of astrology. She loves doing it. She loves helping people. You do.
Thank you so much. I just feel honored to be invited.
Are you kidding? It's my pleasure. And so people can get a hold of you how?
theplanetarycodes.com.
Okay, and I think it's at the bottom of your screen. Thank you so much for
having me.
You were
you're
wonderful.
Amazing.
No, you're amazing. You're wonderful.
Your team is amazing.
Thank you. They are. I'm very blessed, and I hope you'll come back.
And Sonny's amazing.
He's a little Pisces boy.
Sonny, thank you for not getting into my water.
I didn't let him go. Anyway, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Don't go away. You've got to see what's coming up. If you like what you've seen on CharVision, then go to char.net and book a personal reading with me, or join a group reading, or join one of my workshops where I teach you to be psychic and intuitive. We're back, and I'm so excited that we're back because one of my favorite people in the whole world is on with me. He is my chiropractor in Michigan. His name is Dr. Jeffrey Fantich, and I must say that I feel better now, and I'm going to be 64 soon, than when I started going to him. And what was I, 30, Jeffrey?
Approximately, I think,
30-something. And Jeffrey has treated my whole family, my mom when she was alive, my sister Alicia. I mean, he's just amazing. And there's just so many great things about Jeffrey. And I know that he studied and he worked with Dr. Goodhart, who's one of the original pioneers of chiropractic work. And Jeffrey just has so much to offer and really is intuitive and has healing hands. And anyway, I should let you talk, Jeff, because the whole interview I'll talk about how great you are. So.
Char, that is very, very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean it. And so the two things that I wanted to talk about today are NAET and also applied kinesiology, which is involved in NAET. So can you explain what NAET is and what the real words are for the NAET?
Absolutely. Well, first off, you're absolutely correct. I worked with Dr. George Goodhart, who is the founder and the originator of diagnostic muscle testing that we all know today as applied kinesiology. It's used in almost every branch of alternative healing, and he was the guy who started it all back in the 1960s, and brilliant man. And NAET is a technique that was developed by a doctor out in Buena Park, California, named Dr. Devi Namboodirpad. And she named the technique after herself, so it's Namboodirpad's allergy elimination technique.
And so the thing I find fascinating about that is that what you do is desensitize people to the things they're allergic to. So the one thing that I've noticed in my whole world is that so many people have allergies and are fighting those allergies. So every time our body is fighting an allergy, our immune system's going down. So every time we get desensitized to something, it's becoming stronger because we don't have to fight that single thing again. So what are the main things that you start with when you do NAET?
Well, absolutely. NAET deals with the immune system, and it's the same immune system that deals with allergies, that deals with fighting diseases, bacterial infections, viral infections. So in theory, the less allergy or allergic reactions you're having, the stronger your immune system is to keep you well and keep you healthy. When we start with an NAET protocol, all patients really start in the same place. We test for what's called the NAET basics. They're very basic common nutrients such as vitamin A, B, and C, corn, sugar, grains, iron, things like minerals, things like this. These are very common. I call them the common denominators. These may be involved in other allergies. So by clearing these allergies first, it may set the stage so that we don't have as many treatments to do in the future for other allergens.
Right. So, what are the basics?
The basics, just as I was mentioning before, are like vitamins and minerals essentially. Also some grains and
Okay, but
and
what
corn and
about?
sugar.
I remember I was desensitized to. Was it sugar, salt?
Yes, those are all included in the basics. And that's why those are so essential to do first. After we've completed clearing basic allergens, then the rules kind of disappear. At that point, we can treat anything that the patient really specifically came in for. So if their concerns are more along the lines of environmental allergens like pollen, grass, weeds, things of that nature, we can go right to those. If food allergies are their primary concern, we can continue along and test for other foods such as dairy, milk, cheese, wheat, soy, you name it. We can really test and treat for anything under the sun, and I kind of laugh when I say this, but anything under the sun, including the sun, because I've treated numerous people for reactions of the skin that they get to sun exposure.
Wow. And the process is fascinating. So take us through like a quick process. Somebody holds a vial in their hand, and the vial is...
Well, we first do a complete history to get an idea of where their trouble may be originating from and what other factors are going on in their health. But when we actually begin the muscle testing we use muscle testing, which is the kinesiological component of NAET. NAET is really a combination of three specific healing techniques: chiropractic, kinesiology, which in this case is diagnostic muscle testing, and acupuncture. We don't have to use acupuncture. Most practitioners use acupressure-based techniques, but some still use needle acupuncture in the treatment. But we have diagnostic kits that contain numerous nutrient and food allergies as well as environmental allergies. Okay. And we start, by muscle testing those individual items.
Okay, and muscle testing is when somebody puts their arm out.
Absolutely. We make sure that we'll say we're using the arm at this point, and we make sure that a specific muscle in the arm, we'll say the deltoid, is strong, and we expose the patient to various different vials that contain the allergens. When we test them to each and every one.
So
if they remain strong, it means they're not allergic to that item.
So when you're testing me, you put this vial in my hand, I put my arm out, and then
yes.
you say resist my hand. You
Absolutely.
Resist
I ask you to resist.
So you're pulling down on my arm.
Correct. And if you're able to resist, and I'm not trying to overpower you, I'm just trying to make sure you're strong.
Right. And this is like really weird for everybody who's listening because you think you're holding it as strong as you can, but your body is allergic to it, so it like weakens. It's crazy.
Yeah, the minute that substance gets into your body's energy field, all the testers are in glass, and glass transmits energy purely. So when it's in your hand, your body perceives the allergen immediately as if I rubbed it on your skin. So if you're reactive, it will weaken you immediately.
So let's, talking about, body language, your body has a language of its own, it tells you. And so then, okay, so I remember when I was desensitized to eggs, I think it was, I had to stay away for 25 hours after I was desensitized from eggs, chickens, and even feathers, because
Right.
eggs come from chickens. You know, what's first, the chicken or the egg? But and the feathers. And so I was like so careful of that I didn't sleep on a feather pillow. I mean, I was so careful.
Right. When we do the treatment is fairly non-invasive and very comfortable for the patient. But the challenging part for the patient is we have to avoid that substance that I've treated them for 25 hours. So that means not consuming it or even coming into contact with it. And since you mentioned the egg treatment, yes, egg comes from the chicken. And chicken also has feathers, and some people are allergic to down or feather-like products. And so we have to have them avoid everything that's related for that 25-hour period of time.
And also, you can desensitize people to emotional things as well, right?
That is correct. That's where the technique really gets interesting because a lot of times people experience traumas in their life from emotional experiences, and those traumas can manifest in chronic illness. And people are in therapy for years working on these issues, which is extremely important. And NAET would never be a replacement for the therapy, but oftentimes the issue that they have, the trauma, is literally energetically stuck in their cells. It's actually reverberating in their system, and they can't get past it. So once we're able to clear that emotional issue that they had, oftentimes therapy gets exponentially better and are able to resolve those issues very, very quickly.
Did I ever tell you when Hetty, who we both know very well, who's passed on, she had to desensitize me to 9/11. Did I ever tell you this?
I don't know if you did.
I'll tell you why. In 1999, I did a pay-per-view special, and I said in it, what I'm worried about in the new millennium is terrorism in our country, and our government better shape up the airports. Well, then 9/11 came, and I was in Germany, and because I was doing my shows in the Netherlands, and when it happened, I got so. I mean, of course, people lost their lives, their families, their friends. I mean, it was horrific.
Yeah.
But I was mad at myself. I was frustrated because I thought if I knew there was terrorism in the new millennium, why didn't I know it was on 9/11 and that exact date? Why didn't I know that? And I couldn't deal with it. If I was told that much, why wasn't I told more that could help people? And obviously, I'm not God and I don't walk on water. And anybody who's intuitive knows sometimes you just get, little nuggets of things to help prevent problems and attain goals. So I was desensitized to that because I was getting physically sick over it.
Absolutely. And that's a great example of how something can reverberate because you were feeling a strong sense of guilt over something you really had no control over. But we've had patients in our practice who have unfortunately been victims of abuse, and that has carried with them their entire lives and shaped their entire lives in ways that are unpleasant. And we've been able to work with them and get them completely past those issues.
Do you think, would you be willing to come back again, and maybe we can get some video of you where we're showing you doing an NAET and explaining what applied kinesiology is so people can really see it?
That would be fantastic. I would love to do that.
Okay, so I mean, we can even, maybe Nikki can come to your house, to your office or something. We'll get.
She can come to my house if she wants to.
I'm sure we can get volunteers and figure it out. I am so grateful to have you on my show. It's a blessing for me because this is like a party because I always want my favorite people with me, and you're just so talented, and I'm so grateful for all the healing you've given to me through the years. And Sonny, and little Sonny, here's Sonny, he fixed his back. Sonny had a hump on his back, and when I first got him, he was 6 months old, and Jeffrey fixed him, and ta-da, he's straight as an arrow here. So anyway, thank you so much, Jeffrey. I love you.
Char, I love you too. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm also very, very blessed to have you in my life, and I'll come back anytime.
Okay, can't wait. Don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to be doing a psychic reading for someone I never met. I'm talking to the dead. I'll tell you what they said. Is that a ghost or did someone open the door? Okay. And I don't take any chances, so I will say my prayer of protection and then we'll start. We ask the universal consciousness that holds the highest spiritual power of knowledge, wisdom, and truth to guide and protect us as we communicate with our guides and angels in the spirit world and tap into the wisdom of the universe. We respect this opportunity and take full responsibility to use this not for ego or controlling others, but with the pure intention of spreading love and healing life on this earth and beyond. Did you have somebody that's an M in your family that starts with M?
No.
Anyone deceased, like a grandmother, grandfather?
Yes.
Is your grandmother an M?
Yes.
Is she spelled M-A?
Yes.
Is she like Mary or M-A-R or M-A with an R in it? Or just M-A?
M-A-R.
Is she like Margaret or Marjorie or something like that? But she's Maria? I don't know the name. But it's M-A-R.
M-A-R.
With a T in it?
No.
Okay. Or an L?
Yes.
Like Marilyn or Marlene?
Marilyn.
Marilyn's your mother. I mean,
My
your
grandmother.
grandmother. I kind of feel like she's here. Did you know her?
Yeah.
And also, is there an S or C person? Like, do you have a deceased S or C, like a grandfather or
No.
a last name that's an S?
Yes.
Is that Marilyn's last name or your other family?
My other side.
Is Marilyn your dad's?
My mom's.
Your mom's. So it's your dad's side that last name is an S?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know William? Do you have somebody deceased named William?
Yeah.
He's here. Is his family to you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Well, like was it a romance? Or a brother or child or
My husband's brother.
a brother? Okay, because I wasn't sure. It was I got romance and brother. So romance, it's your husband's brother, William. I feel like he's here. And was this an unexpected
Yes.
death? Was this like an accident or an unexpected death? Did he commit suicide? Or you think he added to his death? You feel like he
Yes.
added to his death?
Yes.
Do you know if there were any drugs or alcohol?
Yes.
I feel like it was like suicidal, but like I feel like he couldn't cope with living on the planet. So I feel like he wanted to. I feel like he wanted to leave the planet, so that's why. But I don't think he really thought it would work. When he overdosed, is that what he did? He overdosed?
Yes.
I feel like he didn't think it would really work. Like I'm gonna live on the edge and see what happens. So so people need to know, your husband needs to know, you need to know you could not have stopped this. Like you need to know that everybody did everything they could to try to help him to sober up. He didn't listen. He didn't want to get help. He tried. I feel like he tried, but he just couldn't deal with it. Who works at the hairdresser?
I do.
Your hairdresser?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I feel like he... Did you do his hair? Did you cut his hair?
Never.
But you work at a hairdresser.
Yes.
And have you wanted to start a business or another kind of business or selling a product or something like this?
Yes.
I feel like it's a new beginning for you, and you need to be really proactive because there's an opportunity here for you to start reinventing yourself a little bit. Is that what you want to do?
Sort of. I'm hand in hand, really.
Okay.
You know?
I just see some opportunities to grow with your company, with your business, with what you do. So there's a J as well, or G. Who is that? Is that your family? Or
That's deceased?
I don't know. Is there one deceased that's a J or G?
There's a G.
A male?
Yes.
A George?
Yes.
Is that your grandpa?
Yes.
He's here. They're bouncing from your family to your husband's family. That's what's going on in my head. Do you know if they had a grandfather named William, or, and also who's Robert or Richard or R? Bob?
Richard?
Richard. Who is that connected to William?
It's his father.
His father. Is he deceased, Richard?
Yes.
Okay, Richard, okay, they're wanting, you need to tell your husband, you need to tell Diane that Richard is with William, taking care of him. Like, taking care of him. Like, he's making sure that whatever issues he had with drugs, you know, there's hospitals in the spirit world, there's healing that goes on. And whatever is happening, whatever happened to William, he's getting help. And Richard's working at helping as well. And people need to know this.
Okay.
Did the lights just go on and off?
It's pretty cool.
Oh,
That's
thank
pretty
you.
cool.
Thank you. Well, you're fun to read for.
Thanks. That was like, I mean, you couldn't have known any of that. So, you know what I mean? You couldn't have ever
Well,
known
thank
any
you.
of that. You couldn't have known any of that. So
Thank you.
that's like
Thank you.
pretty impressive. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel pretty great. I've seen shows, so I was familiar with sort of the format, but I didn't really know what to expect at all. So, and I sort of always go into things like this thinking, there's no way, how could that be possible? But it was very accurate.
Time goes so fast when we're having fun. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on CharVision.